protecting your mind. There ain't no reason for the fantasize. No moments human, that's all realize.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Comments from the Peanut Gallery podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Kurtz. I'm joined here with a very special guest, the great and powerful Daniel Scarey Carey. He fights on the Bellator card at the end of the month on November 30th. How you doing today, Daniel?
I'm doing great. Absolutely great.
It's awesome. Thank you. Thank you for coming on the show today, taking the time out of your Saturday morning. I know you got a wife and kids, so Saturday mornings are usually always pretty hectic with the little ones.
Oh yeah, I stay pretty busy.
Daniel. So for everybody that's out there listening right now that might not be following you right now at the moment, where can they follow you on your social medias?
You can follow me on Instagram, Daniel Little Scarey Carey, and then my fan page on Facebook, Daniel Scarey Carey. Oh, and never mind, it's Daniel Scarey Carey on both of them, Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, so make sure you go check out Daniel Scarey Carey on all social media platforms. Keep it locked as far as the updates, as he's in camp right now, going to fight at the 145 class coming up at the end of the month. Also, Daniel, is there any sponsors or anybody else out there that you would like to throw a shout out to right away?
Yeah, definitely you, Peanut.
Thank you very much.
Comments from the Peanut Gallery for sure. I want to give a shout out to. Last two fights you guys have sponsored me. You're awesome. I got Ada Nissan, my job, and they're just a great place to get cars from. Jag, and then Ivy and Fusion. If it wasn't for them, I don't know how I'd even recover after making weight. Sweeney Realty, great place. The Terphouse, always.
Shout out to the Terphouse. Speaking of the Terphouse, I'm staying down here for UFC Denver with CEO of Terphouse, Mr. Brandon Lambert. So shout out to you, Brandon. Always awesome. great to be in the presence of other very forward and hustle-like minds.
Yeah.
So Daniel, as you're getting ready for this fight in the next couple of weeks, talk about where you're at. How are you feeling right now in camp and everything? How's it been going for you?
Well, they were I don't have to worry about getting taken down by this opponent, so that's new. First time ever actually preparing for somebody that we didn't, I still drill wrestling and things like that, but if he took me down, he'd be doing me a favor, so I'm not worried about that at all. So that's a complete 180 than what I'm normally doing. I keep hearing that he's a world champion kickboxer, which is awesome. I watched him fight. I got nothing but respect for him. He has great hands, great feet. He moves very well. So I really think we're going to have one hell of a fight in that cage. But MMA is different than Muay Thai, and I learned that in my first 3 or 4 pro fights. I just don't see him beating me. It's possible that he could, but I don't see it happening. I think it's going to be a bad night for him.
Well, I certainly hope so. Your last fight was by submission. So you definitely have showed off some skills in the ground game. Not to mention, let's put this out there for all the people out there, recently promoted as well as far as your belt rank in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I got a purple belt from Carlson Gracie. I was not expecting that actually, so it caught me off guard big time. I was not expecting to get a purple belt. I knew my coach Cortez had told me everybody that was getting promoted, and he didn't mention me, so I didn't think. I was like, oh, sweet, I guess I'm going to be a blue belt another 2-3 years, But then they called my name, and I was like, oh, man, it's definitely a big accomplishment for me. I've been working hard for it.
Describe that feeling in the moment when your name was called.
Well, actually, I stood there for probably a solid 30 seconds like a dummy. I thought they were calling a different Daniel. Because when you first get it, you don't think that you're ready for it, but then you go and you roll some, and then you're rolling with other purple belts or brown belts, and you realize you're doing pretty good. So then you're like, you know what? I think it was totally okay with me getting this.
That's awesome, and especially, shout out to Cortez as well as KP. So Chris Farina also getting promoted from your guys' gym. Conquer BJJ out there in Ada, Oklahoma, making some moves.
Oh yeah, I think we got I think 4 or 5 purple belts that day. Our gym is definitely growing for sure.
You've been around obviously with Cortez for a while since the big boom of his movement out there with stuff. What's it like for you, kind of being one of the OGs of the squad out there at Conquer?
Well, we get a lot of people coming in and out, so it's definitely helped me meet new people. I don't really have like a social life. I would never go out. I would never do any of that. I like staying home playing video games. That's pretty much what my life would be like without MMA. And actually going to the gym, like we're going out today with some friends later on tonight, and like it's always something. So it's definitely gotten me out of my comfort zone for sure. I'm kind of I guess I'm boring, really. Now I think about it, I don't do anything. I just stay at home. But with the family I got at the gym now, we're always doing something. We're always going places. So that's probably the biggest thing, the biggest life change, really.
How important is it to you, or how pivotal is it for your overall success in training, everything along those lines, that, it seems like you guys are a very tight-knit family atmosphere down there. Teammates always together outside of training. You guys go into barbecues, watch parties for fights, all that sort of stuff with each other. What's that, how important is that synergy?
Well, I don't know. I've never had it any other way. So I couldn't really say what it would be like to not have, like, the people you train with as your family. But I know whenever I have a fight, Chris Marine's trying to take my head off, and when he has a fight, I'm trying to take his head off. My jiu-jitsu coaches are trying to just murder me on the mat a little bit more than normal. So I would say it was more like a tough love type thing. I can't imagine being in a place where that wasn't the case. I don't really see me training too many other places, to be honest with you.
That's understandable.
Maybe it is that connection, you get with people. But no one goes easy on me because I don't go easy on anyone else. So,
I feel like to a certain extent, though, there's a difference between not going easy on someone and being too much, if you will. Just in training respect. Like, I think that's respect to you as a training partner, that someone says that, what, in order for him to be his best, I have to give him my best.
Oh, absolutely. Like, we have a guy, his name's Braden Willis. He's an amateur, but he has great boxing. His stand-up's pretty good. And he's a southpaw, but for this camp, he's went orthodox for me, just so I get another look, because I train with quite a few southpaws. It's like complete 180 for me. I have more southpaws at the gym than I do orthodox fighters, so he's helped me out as well.
That's pretty unusual to have that many southpaws in one place, no?
Yeah, well, I think they're kind of like ambidextrous. They could do both. I can fight both as well. Just I primarily stay orthodox. So, I teach the kickboxing up there a lot of times, so they kind of pick that up for me, and then they just pick whatever side they want. It's generally what happens.
Gotcha. So have you, are you going to be watching UFC Denver at all? Are you following that along?
Man, I might tonight. I really want to, actually. I really want to watch it, but not 100% sure because we have a few different places we may be going tonight, so we're not settled on one yet. But I would love to watch it. I love watching fights.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, I mean, imagine that a fighter loves watching fights, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's for sure.
So I got to ask you, though, at least, even if you don't get the chance to see it as maybe a prediction or a pre-thought for it, who do you have? Do you have PMP, Platinum Mike Perry, or do you have Cowboy?
Man, I'm my gut's telling me Platinum, but I just have a feeling that Cowboy might take it out. He has so much experience, but man, I think if I had to bet money, I would go with Platinum right now.
Platinum, he has a different kind of look in his eye right now. He's got that hunger. I thought that he was something special And then he kind of fell off for a couple of fights, and then I thought that if he just got to a good camp, that dude can take his game to a next level. Well, ever since that, I believe it was the loss to Max Payne Griffin, that he then moved on to Jackson Wink, and he's been a different monster ever since that point. Ever since he teamed up with Frank the Tank Lester, his game's just taken off to another level. I had the opportunity to meet Perry this week down here in Denver, and I'm a huge Cowboy fan. Being a Colorado guy, grew up here, and just period. If you're a fight fan, how could you not like Cowboy? Just with his kind of anyone, anywhere, anytime sort of mentality. But after getting to know and meeting Perry this week, it's really hard to root against the guy because he's just so fucking cool.
Yeah, I've seen some of his interviews. Yeah, he seems like a very intense individual. Feels like he'd be cool to hang out with, too.
Yeah, we were just in the hotel lobby. It was during his weight cut, so he was, in between sessions there and just kind of bullshitting for a few minutes. Like, he doesn't owe me anything at all, but we sat there and, chopped it up for a couple of minutes. Like, man, Mike Perry is a real dude on that end of things. Like, he could have just said, F this guy, kept on walking, or, moved out of the room, whatever, not said anything. Sat there and stayed talking for a few minutes, so that was cool. And then I saw him last night in the lobby, and, he gave me the little head nod. So that was, kind of at least to me, for someone in my position, someone who's young in the game, to get the acknowledgement even a couple of days later. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that is cool. He obviously remembered you.
Definitely. And then like I say, the star power here in Denver is absolutely phenomenal right now with the 25th anniversary of the UFC being here. It was kind of a can't miss type of situation on that front for me. Got to meet my all-time idol last night, Matt Hughes. That was an incredible experience, man. But also it's a sad thing to see how Matt has with the accident.
Right.
But it's also, to me, it's kind of in a sense like, wow, he's doing this well. Like he's walking, he's talking, he's doing all this after getting hit by a freaking train.
Dude, that's so nuts that he's made this. Like, I worked in a hospital for a while, and the fact that he's able to walk and talk the way he is amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Let's just put the cards on the table. The fact that he survived getting hit by the train in the first place is incredible.
Yeah, that's another one, yeah. The fact that he survived.
The fact that he survived, and then stack that on top of now, he's out making public events. He's out, shaking hands, kissing babies, doing that sort of routine. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So that was really cool. It was also awesome. Just the little bit of a dialogue that we had. I told him, Mr. Hughes, it's an honor to meet you. You're the reason why I became an MMA fan in the first place, way back, when I was a wrestler, when I was young. And and so he shook my hand and he looked me dead in the eye and he said, "Call me Matt. Easy with that Mr. stuff."
Yeah, now I recall he didn't let anybody else call him Mr. Hughes or anything. It was always Matt.
So
he came down to train with us.
Well, I guess that makes sense then there. But I thought it was cool. You know what? Hey, there was a little bit of there was some fire. There was some banter back. Hey, don't call me Mister. I don't care if I'm your idol or not. Don't fucking call me Mister.
Yeah. So, no, like he's so humble. He's a humble guy.
Yeah, that was cool there. Art One Glove Jimerson was in the house. Always, are you familiar with who that is?
Hey, it sounds familiar.
So, do you remember from the original UFC the guy who went out there with one boxing glove on?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he.
Oh, that's him.
Yep.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of the Hall of Famers, the legends here. This weekend there was at Dave & Buster's in Denver last night a big meet and greet that had guys like Matt, Dan Severn, I think. Jimerson was there. I can't remember who else all completely was in the mix, but of current guys, I definitely know that Anthony Lionheart Smith was one of the big names there. So First
He's
and
on a
foremost,
hell of a run right now.
yeah, I was gonna say shout out to Lionheart, the number 2 ranked light heavyweight in the world right now. He's a beast, man. I think that he's the guy who can potentially, if Gus doesn't do it, I think he's the guy who can knock John Jones off the throne.
Dude, I agree, and it was a great podcast you had with him too. I mean, he's a scary dude. He just looks scary. You see him in the ring, I'm like, man, this guy's terrifying.
I could not agree with you more, man. He's got the look. That's a look that they can market. That's a look that can be sold. And furthermore, Daniel, you could not meet a more genuine and nice person than Anthony. Anthony is
that's usually
such a
how
nice
it goes,
dude.
man. For real, that's usually the scary-looking dudes are the nicest. And he seemed really well-spoken, nice, stuff like that. Definitely marketable. The UFC really needs to get behind him.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more, man. Could not agree with you more. With and also with Anthony on that, he's got more than 40 fights at this point in his career, so it's not like he's underseasoned or he doesn't have the cage experience. He's got basically, I think at this point, close to 30 finishes alone in his career.
Dude, I would love to see him versus John or Gus, really. Depends on who wins, really. I feel like you can't count out Gustafsson. But, I mean, he is fighting John Jones, and John Jones is just a different animal.
Right, and, that was the closest that John Jones arguably, was to losing, and John didn't train for that fight. So, if John's actually training for this one, if John's actually clean, who knows what we see.
Right, but it's a long layoff, too. Like, I don't know, there's so many variables that go in the fight, and that it's just hard to tell. You could bet, the odds could be against you and all that, but at the end of the day, it's still a fight. Anything can happen.
Exactly. I mean, I still, I'm surprised that I'm not blocked by Rafael Lovato Jr. yet, but every time that he puts up a post, I always put up like hashtag #IPoke, never forget.
I did not know you did that. Oh, man.
Yeah, so for those of you that are out there listening who don't know what I'm referring to, a couple of years ago, one of the biggest names in Bellator MMA right now, Rafael Lovato Jr., he is an absolute stud overall, but he was fighting our boy Cortez Coleman a couple of years back. Cortez was winning that fight, and then he got eye-poked so bad that they had to, that it was a question of if it was almost going to get stopped, but Cortez is a gladiator. He didn't want it. He didn't want it to go down that way. He continued. Well, I mean, hey, when you can't see a man, it's a big game changer.
It is. And a lot of, I don't know if they would have went to the cards if he would have said he couldn't continue.
Probably would have went no contest,
right? If they would have went to the cards,
right?
Tez would have won that fight.
Yeah, it probably would have went no contest, most likely, based off of stoppage, right?
I want to say yeah. But, man, I feel that Tez won those first 2 rounds. I mean, he had dropped him. He had hurt him a few times. He got taken down by Lovato. If I remember correctly, he got taken down by Lovato, then got up and even played in his guard for a minute. And it was just a great fight for Cortez up to that eye poke. And I don't know if it was intentional. I don't want to say he's like a dirty fighter or nothing, but it's just one of those things. I wish there was a rematch for sure.
I would like to see it personally, but who knows at this point, just based off contract status and all that sort of stuff and the politics of the game. You know how that goes.
Yeah, I don't see it happening at this point. If it would have happened, it would have happened. Like a little faster time period after the incident.
Right. So
but
go ahead.
I mean, at the end of the day, it is a fight. You have those 4-ounce gloves on. Fingers go places they're not supposed to go. So, I really do think Lovato got lucky on that fight because I think Tez was on his way to getting a KO victory.
I agree. I say that's why I always I troll his posts sometimes, or not sometimes, more frequently than not. But
All right.
I haven't been blocked yet, so I guess that's that's a plus.
Yeah, or maybe he's not looking at his social media. I don't know, but I didn't know you did that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Probably a little bit of an asshole move on my part, but you know what? Hey, such is life. That's my comments from the peanut gallery.
Yeah. You know, you got to do what you got to do.
Yep, exactly, man. So, you know, where do you feel as far as you know, with weight and everything? How you doing that? As far as that goes with camp right now.
Well, yesterday I woke up. I think I was like 160, 159-ish. I was bouncing between those two.
Oh, so, shit, that's easy money.
Yeah, my weight's fine. I mean, I'm usually just like I am right now, this far out. Next week I'll be 55, and then 45 the day of weigh-in. So it's no issue at all here.
That's awesome, man. You know, what else has been new for you in the last couple of months since we've hung out or been in contact directly?
Well, probably the biggest change we made was every Sunday I take Saturdays off now. So either I train people or I just make it a family day. Because before, whenever I had a fight, I mean, I get to see I'm a big time family dude. Like I love my kids and all that. They get on my nerves, but I love them. And I would train 6 or 7 days a week, and I wouldn't really get to see I got to see them at night when I went to sleep, but, you're tired, you did a 2 or a 3 a day, you don't want to be around them, you just want to go to sleep. Well, Tez came up with this idea, well, maybe we'll make it a little, not easier, but just change things around slightly. So now I'm going up to a gym called American Elite every Sunday for sparring. We get 10 rounds of MMA sparring in. It's brutal. There's a lot of guys my weight class, and they're all trying to fuck me up. Oh, sorry, I can't remember if I'm supposed to cuss or not.
You're free to do whatever you want on here, my brother.
All right. Well, they're all trying to kill me. I get great looks, and I really like that place. Another Factory X guy trains there, Derek Atkins.
Okay.
He's like their head MMA guy. But I go up there for the sparring, and I get 1 day a week, Saturdays, that I get to just kick it with my family. And this is a schedule I'll have regardless if I have a fight or not. I like the way it works. I'm getting better doing this, so I think this is probably the biggest change. Yeah, it's definitely sustainable. Where before I felt like I was getting run into the ground a little bit. You know what I mean? Because if I don't know, if I don't have my family around, I get weird. I get down, I guess. But it definitely helps.
That's good, man. You know, it seems like you're in a very good place mentally with everything that's going on right now. I feel like that's one of the biggest battles. Oh
yeah, and this is the second Bellator contracted fighter I'm fighting. So they're bringing him in to whoop my ass. Like I know what they're doing. They're bringing him in just like they brought in that Chris guy. I'm supposed to lose. Every time they do this, every time I'm like a huge underdog, I tend to do extremely well. And there's really no pressure on me. If I lose, well, I was supposed to lose. He's the next big thing, right? But if I win, I don't see how they could deny me a pretty nice contract. So it's really, this is the first fight I feel like there's no pressure on me. I feel zero pressure on this one. I'm just going to go out there and do my thing. And everybody else, they shied away from him. They were scared to stand with him. They ran away. I watched one of his Bellator fights. I just can't. I'm not that guy. I'm gonna be in his face from bell to bell. It's gonna be a different fight. And I definitely don't think he's faced anyone. I know he has not faced anyone in MMA like me, anyways. So we'll find out the 30th.
Well, I definitely wish you nothing but the best of luck in your contest on the 30th that way. And, I really, really hope that at that point, once you do win, you get that nice contract.
Oh, dude, it would make it just, we don't get paid very much as fighters, at least not in the beginning levels. And a baby still. You know, I only have 8 fights. So, yeah, I mean, I gave up a good job to train more. Not that the job I have now isn't good, it's better hours. So, you know, we definitely sacrificed a lot so I could do this, and to have a contract would bridge that gap with pay a little bit more, a lot more. And wouldn't have to give up as much, at least my family wouldn't. Pay is definitely a big deal, but if I said I fought only for money, that would be a lie. I fought, you know, just to test myself physically and mentally. So.
Definitely. Well, I feel like, though, actually being a contracted guy, that gives you more of a safety net for your overall job security, too.
Yes. Yeah, because, yeah, I mean, if you know you're going to have 3 fights that year, you get a pay increase each fight. This is as I interpreted it anyways. And the pay increase is like what I mean, quite a bit. I mean, it's probably what I'll make in 1 year at my regular job for one fight. You know, whether I win or lose, I get paid, you know, a pretty good amount. And then if you win, you get double. So, I mean, that's just, it would help out tremendously, for sure. Especially with training, I'd be able to help out some of my training partners a little bit. Because, man, we're in a small Oklahoma town, man. We don't got very much here, you know.
Right, right. So, you know, I mean, having to travel, like you mentioned, that's, I'm sure, a necessity just to make sure that you get the best looks.
Well, it's mainly to get different styles and sparring. You know, I do very well with the guys that are at our gym, but I also teach them, you know what I mean? So, like, we all coach each other. To say that I'm not the coach is ridiculous. We all help each other big time, but I need to get different looks. Like, it's so much different when you go to another gym and you never sparred this guy. I don't know who this dude is, but he's throwing some weird stuff at me I've never seen before. Now I need to adapt and overcome, just like you got to do in a fight. So it's different looks, and then, you know, if I go up there, I get 10 different people I'm going to spar in one day. So, I mean, that's just, for a small area like we're at, that's very important. I honestly believe that.
Definitely, man. Well, dude, I'm so happy to hear how everything is going for you. It seems like everything is going really well, that you're in a great place mentally. Training has found its niche for you as far as your regiment goes. That's awesome, Danny. I'm really excited for this fight for you.
Oh, me too, because it's going to make the highlights on Bellator for sure. I mean, yeah, he's a pressure fighter, and then I tend to be a pressure fighter as well, so it's going to be we're going to have a fucking barn burner. It's going to be a great fight. I don't see how it wouldn't be a great fight.
That's awesome, man. You know, Daniel, as we kind of come to a close on this guy here and start to wind things down, is there anything that we might not have covered, or anything that you definitely want to get out there for everybody listening that we might not have touched yet?
Man, I can't think of nothing, to be honest. I'm sure I'll think about it as soon as we hang up, but as of right now, no, I got nothing.
That's how it always goes, man. It's like, 5 minutes after we get done, like, oh, why don't we talk about this, you know?
Right, yeah.
But so why don't you hit the people off one last time with where they can follow you at online?
Yeah, you guys can follow me on... you could like my fan page, preferably, on Facebook, Daniel Scarey Carey. You can also go to my Instagram and follow Daniel Scarey Carey. So same thing both. And I would like to give another shout out to my sponsors, Ada Nissan. You guys are awesome. Jag, Brandy, you know you're awesome. IV Infusion. Without them, I don't know how I'd ever recover after making weight. Sweeney Realty. Those guys, man, he's helped me out big time. Even if he doesn't sponsor me this fight, I'm still going to shout him out. Terphouse, like always shouting those guys out, regardless if they sponsor me or not. And then you. Comments from the Peanut Gallery.
Thank you very much, sir, Daniel. You know, I know that if Brandon was still right here in the room with us, he'd definitely be singing your praises too as well. I actually, he just hit me up and told me to bring down some of his stuff for Joby Sanchez to bring it down here in the lobby. So, be going and meeting up with some more UFC personnel here in a little bit. But yeah, so from the comments from the peanut gallery, and just want to throw a quick couple of shout outs on my end out to some very special and important people out there. Want to throw a shout out to the Terphouse and to the rest of the comments from the peanut gallery team. That's Yusuf the Moroccan Devils Alal. Keep an eye out for him on December 7th in LFA action. Justin the Machine Osborne, he's getting after it the week after down in Biloxi, Mississippi. Jordan Tony, Selena Rowland.
Dinner place for Judas, niggas claiming family, I no sacrifice. Also, grip a 40, sip a 40 for them gutter pains. Keep a release on the mobile for them show me nice. I ain't living right, long live the game. Maximize capital, finite physical. Fuck metaphorical, my whole life digital. Dash for that play, non playing, I never play though. And chords get stringy when you tired line and queso. Dímelo mijo, that's what they say when I free flow. Might wet that sweet spot, that's less love me flowing. From no M state, still screaming B-mo. My time is my time, homie, I speed slow. No eyes, strong ties, fuck a Rico. Give thanks, drive slow and stack peso. Kiss your minds out the male da beso, yeah. Lay low and stay cool, the shit stressful, boy.
That's why I stay high. Look, there they go, macadamian, don't know what brainy in a match of cranium, so we roll up on you like Damien in that Mercedes Benz. Got weed and drink with some lady friends who got the latest shit, but they fans and shit, so I ain't hit. Damn, here go the bass again, renovate your place again. We on the Vegas strip, rocking straight out that bodega shit. You know we so legit, with no limit like I'm Soldier Slim, but I'm more like PMC. Pinkies up, feel me? Got my soldiers with me and my youngest down the ride. Got some bread up in the hills, got some sauce up on the side. Got Tino in here working like a nigga working nights. Said your girl just ain't his type. She just trying to catch a ride and she with it. And she so committed. Damn, your boy is fresh to death and you ain't even seen it. We cut from a different cloth and you can check my linens. Cause I was trying to stand out when you was trying to fit in. Adios.